Hi. Last week at Celebration Sunday, we were reminded that since 2007, God has opened one door after another to allow us to move into 13 First Field. What you're about to see now is a computer-generated video based on the actual plans for the building once it's completed. Imagine what that will be like if we can use a facility like this to serve our community, to introduce people to the God who loves them, to connect people with one another, and to get together for inspiring and challenging times of worship.
Having this facility will allow us to significantly expand ministry because our large gatherings won't be limited to just a few hours on Sunday. Instead, we'll have our own space that we can use 7 days a week. We'll also stop pouring $100,000 into rent at Seneca Valley High School and countless volunteer hours into setup and tear down. We look forward to the day that we can redirect those resources to ministries that invest in people and in serving our community. We've completed the bid process and we've received some very favorable prices. We've selected Scott Long Construction as our contractor, and we've even got an approved building permit.
Right now we have an opportunity to get this project to completion for about $2.1 million. Currently we have about $500,000 in the bank. We have another $500,000 loan on approval. So there's about a $1.1 million gap to make up. The remaining $1.1 million seems like a lot of money, and it is. But that's the exact amount of money that has been pledged to Chapter 2 by our church and has not yet been given. Now, we could wait until the end of Chapter 2. But if we do that, the construction costs will continue to go up. And we'll spend another 18 months paying rent to Seneca Valley High School. We believe that the wisest course of action is for us to act now. In order to make that happen, we're going to need to bring in the remaining $1.1 million by March of next year, with $500,000 of that coming in by September of this year.
If you've already made a pledge to the Chapter 2 campaign, then I'd like to ask you to prayerfully consider if you can accelerate your giving in order to complete your pledge within the next 10 months. Now, maybe you've already completed your Chapter 2 pledge, and if you have, thank you. I want to ask you to consider if you could give an additional gift to maybe help someone whose employment situation has changed, or someone for whatever reason is not going to be able to complete their pledge. You could help to fill that gap. And then third, if you're someone who hasn't yet made a pledge to Chapter 2, I want to ask you to prayerfully consider getting on board and letting us know what you can do in the next 10 months.
For each of you, would you consider helping us get to that $500,000 by September, or the $1.1 million by next March? Yes, it's a big challenge, but we believe that with God's help, working together, we can actually do this. Last week you should have received a commitment card on Sunday morning, and if you were not able to join us, watch your mailbox because we're sending one to you. I'd like to ask you to prayerfully go through this card and consider what kind of a gift from you and your family would really honor God and would help turn the vision of Chapter 2 into action and into reality. We'll collect these cards on Sunday, or you can drop yours in the mail if you'd prefer. But we'd like to ask each person at Seneca Creek to fill in a commitment card, even if you've already filled one in the past, even if you've made a pledge. There's a place on this card to check a box that says this card is to clarify or modify an existing pledge. Fill the card in, turn it in, and that will allow us to determine how we can move forward and take advantage of this opportunity to turn Chapter 2 into action.
Every contribution matters because this is a big goal, but with God's help and everyone doing their part, together we can do something that we wouldn't be able to accomplish alone.
Thanks in advance for prayerfully considering and helping us turn the vision of Chapter 2 into action.